Introduction. My name is Jackie. I live in a quiet, gray town next to the sea. It is a very small town. I work in my family's old bakery. This bakery is everything to me. It has been standing here for many, many years. My grandfather started the business a long time ago. Then my father worked here, and now I work here too. This building is full of our family's history. It is a very important place for all of us. Every day, I wake up very early. I must start working when the sun is still sleeping. I turn on the big ovens and begin to mix the flour and water. This is my daily routine. I feel comfortable in the large kitchen. Soon, the air fills up with wonderful smells. I smell warm flour, sweet sugar, and fresh yeast. I bake many different kinds of bread and cinnamon rolls. I love the warmth of the oven when the cold winter wind blows outside. But things are not good for the business now. Our town is very quiet, and not many customers come to buy things. We do not have enough money to pay for everything. My father told me the bad news last month. He said we might need to close the bakery very soon. We might have to sell the old building. This news makes me feel ill. I feel a strong, heavy fear in my chest. If we lose the bakery, I will lose my history. I will lose the only life I know. This shop is more than just a place to work. It is my home. We need a lot of money to keep the doors open, but we have only a little money left. I try to work harder every day. I bake bread for many hours. I hope that this will help. But sometimes I stand still in the middle of the large kitchen and I feel very small. The space feels empty even when I am busy making food. I feel very much alone here. I think about the future and I feel only worry. I am afraid of losing this special place. I am 23 years old, and I do not know what I will do if the bakery closes forever. I hope that something will change quickly. I hope for a good surprise. I hope for a new customer who can help us. I just stand there, listening to the quiet sound of the clock ticking slowly. I wish I was not so alone in this big, old, gray building. I wish I had someone to share my fear with, too, the stranger. The wind was very strong that night. It was a heavy storm outside. The rain hit the old bakery windows hard. I looked at the clock. It was very late, almost time to close the shop. I felt tired after a long day of baking. I thought that all the customers were gone. I was ready to lock the door and go home. Suddenly, the front door opened quickly. A tall man stood there. He brought the cold air and the smell of the wet street inside with him. He wore a long, heavy coat that was black. Rain dripped from his coat and his dark hair onto the wooden floor. He looked around the empty shop. His eyes were a clear, deep blue. When he looked at me, I saw that they were very tired. He spoke softly. "Excuse me," he asked. "Are you still open? I need a warm place to rest for a moment." I felt a sudden surprise. My heart started to beat faster. I looked at him closely. He was handsome, but he looked very sad and exhausted. I knew I should close the shop, but I could not tell him no. Yes, I answered quickly. Please come in. We are still open for you. I told him he could sit down. I went to the counter to work. I poured a cup of coffee for him. I made sure the coffee was very hot. Then I took a fresh cinnamon roll and warmed it gently in the oven. The sweet smell filled the air. I walked to his table and placed the hot cup and the roll in front of him. Thank you, he said. His voice was low and quiet. He walked to the small table in the corner of the room. He took off his wet coat and hung it on the back of the chair. He sat down alone. He did not touch the roll right away. He only held the warm cup between his hands, looking at the steam rise. I began to clean the counter slowly, but I watched him. He looked like he was far away, thinking about something difficult. He was a complete stranger, but sitting there, he made the large, empty bakery feel warm. I felt a strange connection to this quiet man. I did not know his name, but I wanted him to stay safe from the storm. I forgot about the late hour and the heavy rain outside. I only watched the stranger sitting alone in the warm light. 3. The daily visitor. The man named Cole became a daily visitor. He came back the day after the storm, and he came back the day after that. Every morning, he arrived just after the sun rose. He always asked for the same thing: hot, black coffee and one plain bread roll. He sat in the corner booth. That booth was always his. I was busy working in the kitchen. I mixed the dough and put the bread into the hot oven. I cleaned the flour from the wooden counters. I noticed that Cole often watched me. He did not look away. When I felt his blue eyes on me, I felt a nervous excitement. It was a new feeling for me. I was usually alone, but now I was waiting for him. I waited for the sound of the bell above the door. We started to talk more each day. Our conversations were slow and quiet. He asked me about the history of the bakery. I told him stories about my grandmother and how she started the business many years ago. I told him how hard it was now to keep the shop open because of the lack of money. I told him my deep fear of losing the building. Cole was a good listener. He did not talk about his own life much. He always turned the conversation back to me. He asked me about my hopes. I told him my biggest hope was to save the bakery and make it successful again. I wanted to make my parents proud. I wanted to keep the smell of warm flour in the air forever. Cole looked serious. He encouraged me to fight for my business. He said, "Jackie, you must not give up on what matters to you." He told me that these dreams were worth fighting for every day. His words were strong and kind. They gave me new energy for my work. When he spoke, his voice was low. He often used my name. He would say, "How are you today, Jackie?" Or, "That bread smells wonderful, Jackie." When he said my name, I felt a warmth spread through my chest. It felt like the heat coming from the big oven. It was a special feeling that helped chase away the cold, gray feeling of the town. I realized that I was no longer just baking bread. I was baking and waiting. I found myself making sure the corner table was clean and ready for his visit. I started to think about him all day long. Cole was now a part of my daily routine, and I hoped he would never leave. He made the lonely kitchen feel a little less empty. For a snowy night, it was late in the evening. Soft, white snow began to fall outside the bakery window. The snow covered the gray streets quickly. The shop was very quiet tonight. There were no other customers inside. Cole was the last person there, and the shop felt empty but peaceful. I was happy he stayed. Cole helped me clean the tables. I wiped the counters and put away the leftover bread. He stacked the chairs on top of the tables. We worked together in the quiet space. We did not talk much, but the silence was comfortable. I reached for a cleaning cloth that was near him. Cole reached for the same cloth at the exact moment. Our hands touched. His hand was warm and strong against mine. We both stopped moving. I looked up at him. The room became very silent. The only sound was the soft snow hitting the window glass. The moment felt intense. We stood there, close to each other, for many seconds. I felt my heart beat fast against my ribs. Cole moved closer to me slowly. I could not look away from his blue eyes. I felt nervous, but it was a sweet feeling. He lifted his hand slowly. He touched my face very gently. His skin was rough but kind. He looked into my eyes for a long, quiet moment. He spoke in a low voice. "You are very special, Jackie." He looked down at my lips. I closed my eyes because I could not move or speak. He kissed me. It was a long, slow kiss. It felt soft and warm. In that moment, the whole world disappeared. I forgot about the snow outside. I forgot about the empty town and the money problems that worried my family. I forgot about the fear of losing the bakery. I only felt Cole. After the kiss, we stood by the counter. He held my face in his two hands. I felt a wonderful warmth spread through me. This feeling was new and strong. I had always been alone, always focused on hard work and saving the shop. Now I had someone. I felt safe with him. We finished cleaning the rest of the shop slowly. We smiled every time our eyes met. It was our secret. I knew this evening was the start of something important. The air smelled like warm bread and fresh snow. I hoped this moment would last forever. 5. Secrets and talk. The snow kept falling softly outside the bakery, but inside, the kitchen was very warm. Cole and I stayed together all night. We sat close to the big oven, which gave off a steady, comforting heat. We talked for many hours about our lives, our dreams, and the future. We did not sleep at all. I told Cole everything about my life. I talked about growing up in the quiet, gray town. I told him about my parents and the long history of the family bakery. I also shared my deepest and most private fears. I told him how worried I was about losing the shop. The money problems made my heart heavy every day. I told him these things because I felt totally safe with him. He held my hand while I spoke. It was easy to tell him my deepest secrets. It felt like he was the only person in the world who truly understood me. The kitchen felt full of magic that night. The only light came from a small lamp over the counter and the orange glow inside the oven. We kissed many times. Each kiss was special and important. I felt a wonderful sense of safety with Cole. He made the large, empty kitchen feel small and full of happiness. I forgot about the town's financial problems and the hard work waiting for me in the morning. Cole listened very carefully to all my stories, but he did not share much about his own past. When I asked him about his family or where he lived before coming to the town, his blue eyes looked very sad. He quickly looked away from me. He changed the subject every single time I asked. This behavior made me wonder about him. I thought, he is hiding something important from me. I knew there was a secret. I felt a small worry in my heart. Why did he not want to talk about his home? Why did he look so sad when I asked? This feeling of doubt was strong, but the feeling of love I had for him was much stronger. I looked at his kind face and his warm smile. I chose to ignore the suspicion. I told myself that the secret did not matter. Tonight, Cole was my escape from reality. I only wanted to be close to him. I decided that his secret could wait. I wanted this perfect night to last forever. 6. The bad news. Life was wonderful for 2 days. The bakery felt like a magical place. Cole was still here. We spent every moment together when the shop was empty. I felt like I had found my other half. I forgot about the fear of losing the bakery. I only thought about our future. Then the bad news came. I walked to the corner shop to buy flour. I stopped at the newspaper stand outside. A large picture was on the front page. I looked at the headline, "Wealthy Developer Targets Coastal Towns." The man in the photo was famous and rich. I looked at the man's face. My breath stopped. My hands started to shake badly. The man in the picture was Cole's father. I read the article quickly. It said this wealthy man, with his big company, was coming to our small town. His plan was to buy all the old land. He wanted to destroy the small businesses, including my family's bakery. He wanted to build large, new hotels. He was known for closing down dreams. A terrible, cold feeling washed over me. I felt sick. Cole was not just a visitor. He was the son of the man trying to destroy my home. He knew about my money problems. He listened to my secrets. He watched me work every day, knowing his father would soon take it all. It was a betrayal. Every kiss, every kind word felt like a terrible lie now. I ran back to the bakery. Cole was sitting at the small table. He was drinking tea. He smiled when he saw me enter. His smile felt like a knife. I slammed the newspaper down on the counter. The photo of his father faced him. "Who are you, really?" I shouted. My voice was loud and shaky. "Tell me the truth, Cole." Cole looked at the paper. His face turned white. He stood up fast. "Jackie, please, wait. Let me explain everything." I pointed at the photograph. You are the enemy. You are the son of the man who wants to destroy everything I love. Tears started to fall down my face. You lied to me from the first day. Cole stepped closer. No, I did not lie about us. I came here for my father's business. That is true. He sent me to look at the land. He paused, looking desperate. But then I met you. I fell in love with you, Jackie. I fell in love with this place. Was I just part of your plan? I asked, my voice broken. Never, he insisted. I stopped working for him days ago. I realized I could not hurt you. I chose you over my family and my money. I promise. I was going to tell you tonight. He reached out for my hand again, but I moved away. His words sounded like they might be true, but the secret was too big. The pain of the betrayal was too strong to ignore. I could not trust him anymore. 7, the letter. I told Cole to go. I watched him walk away into the dark street. I closed the door of the bakery and locked it tight. My heart felt heavy and broken. I sat alone in the quiet shop. It was very silent now. I felt stupid because I trusted him so quickly. He was the son of the enemy. My anger was strong, like a big fire. He lied about his name and his reason for being here. But then I remembered his smile. I remembered the way he looked at me when we talked about saving the business. I remembered our long night together by the warm oven. He was truly kind. He helped me clean the tables. He listened to my secrets. Was he really a bad man? I did not know what to believe anymore. I felt lost and confused in the shadows of the big kitchen. I sat there for hours, fighting the memories of his face. The sun came up slowly, painting the sky gray. I did not sleep at all. I felt tired and sad. I started the bread dough, moving slowly and without joy. Later that morning, I heard a sound at the front door. I jumped. It was the postman, not Cole. He gave me one small, white envelope. The handwriting on the front was Cole S. My hands began to shake when I opened the paper. I read his words quickly. He wrote that he was very sorry for all the pain he caused. He said he understood why I was so angry. Then I read the most important sentence. Cole wrote, "I quit my job." I stopped breathing. He wrote that he could not help his father hurt me or my quiet town. He explained that he went to see his father and told him everything. He stood up to his father and refused to help with the bad plan. He chose to leave the family company and the money. I read the letter 2 more times. He gave up everything for me. He risked his entire future. He chose our love over his family's wealth. My fear changed into a sudden, strong hope. He was not just a stranger or a rich boy anymore. He was a good man who made a very difficult choice. I felt a sudden warmth in the cold bakery. I smiled for the first time in 2 days. I knew then that he would return. 8, a new start. Cole came back to the bakery door. He did not arrive in his big, expensive car. He was wearing simple clothes now. His face looked calm and happy. He smiled. I felt my heart lift instantly when I saw him standing there, looking at the old wooden door. I knew he was truly mine now. He spoke softly. "Jackie," he said, "I am here. I quit my old job. I do not want my father's money or his business. I only want to be with you." He asked me a serious question. "Can I be your helper? Can I be your partner in this shop?" I did not need to think about my answer. I ran across the room to him. I hugged him very tight. We laughed together, and I felt tears of happiness. It was an emotional reunion after a long, difficult time. I felt safe and strong again. We stood in the kitchen and looked around the space. The bakery was old and needed much work. The financial problems were still real, but they seemed smaller now. We were two people, not one person trying to fight alone. We quickly decided to fix the business together. We would make the bakery better than before. We would use the small amount of money I had saved to start again. Cole said he was ready to learn how to bake bread and work the early mornings. I smiled because he looked serious and committed to our future. This was a new start for both of us in the quiet gray town. We chose love over comfort. We chose honesty over keeping big secrets. I learned a big lesson. I realized that wealth and expensive things are not important for real happiness. A true connection between people is worth much more than any amount of money. Cole proved that he loved me more than his family's business empire. He chose a simple, hard life with me instead. Cole was the last customer in my old, sad bakery, but he became the first partner in our new, happy life. We started cleaning the kitchen that afternoon. The sun shone brightly through the window. We worked side by side. We were partners now. We were ready for the future. Our future was built on trust and hope